Exactly. All right, a shock loss to the Raiders could cost the Roosters a home final. Well, that's really not the worst of it, is it? A horror injury, told. That really does. That's the threat of the season. There's Sam Walker, playmaker. He was done. Looked innocuous, but that's 9 months to a year right there.
Yep.
They always do,
and he was known as he went off there, their kind of chances. But then Brandon Smith goes down. Same injury.
Yeah, both have had their knees strapped. I think they've obviously got issues with their knee. I know young Sam Walker he partially tore his ligament.
Yep.
So when it popped, when he said he heard that pop, it was bad news. It is shocking for the Roosters because...
And that's Victor Radley at the end, him going off as well.
It looks like he might be back for the grand final, but the Sam Walker, he's been their best player.
Yeah.
When he first came into... He plays unorthodox. He's not like your genuine sort of... halfback like a Cooper Cronk, very like reserved. He sort of plays off the top of his head a little bit, which is great because the Chooks have been averaging 30 points a game, but they looked a little bit lost when he wasn't there that second half.
Roosters will play the finals. Is there any saving grace in having another week now that they can work on whatever this new lineup looks like?
Well, yeah, I suppose it is because there was talk they might rest players coming into the last game against South, but that went out the window because they need their sort of combinations going into this semi-final. As I mentioned, Sammy Walker has been by far and away the best player for the Roosters this year, and they've sort of all got on the back of his skill and his ability. So they're going to have to certainly change the way they play.
So Sandon Smith probably comes in the halves. Does Connor Watson play in the 9 role?
You would imagine Sandon Smith comes in at 6 and Connor Watson at 9, but Joey Manu has played 6 before. Didn't really work out for them.
But Fletch, you're a Roosters man, past Roosters. Is it a red pen through the...
No, I don't think so. I really don't think so. We've seen this year that anyone can beat anyone. And look, Melbourne are in the box seat because they're all fit and firing. Their only injury they've got is a Pappenhausen. Penrith have come off a little bit. The Nathan Cleary injury has certainly brought that back to the field. But you look at the Roosters team; they've still got a pretty impressive roster. So,
from your experience, is that the first time the Daily Telegraph has used the headline "Cook Chooks"?
No, definitely not. Oh. No, because they've sort of given up, haven't they?
Seems like an obvious one to me.
Brandon Smith's injury came in the hip drop tackle that saw Elliott Whitehead sent to the sin bin. Cop, I think it was 3 weeks after the game. He wanted to check on Smith, but Roosters coach Trent Robinson was having none of it. Here's what both had to say.
I just wasn't happy the way I went over to ask about Brandon, and Trent Robinson's had a go at me. I went to apologise and he's turned on me. So, the way he'd done that, I thought that were out of order.
He said it was an accident. And I just said, look, you've done it too many times. That was it. And I wouldn't usually want to talk to you guys about it, but he opened it up, and it's been really common in his game his whole career.
There you go. Is it?
That doesn't look deliberate though. When you look at that, and I haven't seen the other incidents that Trent Robinson's talking about on this occasion, but that looked more like just a slip off the top and his body just fell into an awkward spot. Or am I wrong with that?
No, don't get us started, Jono. Does it happen in your game? It happens in your game all the time. Do you have the hip drop? Is that illegal sort of manoeuvre, tackle in?
In some ways, I suppose, because you're tackling the lower body, so you're trying to put all your weight down to restrict them. But tackling in our game has changed dramatically over the last 12 months because of the sling aspect.
Yeah, right. That's for the head. Yeah. The head knocks.
Yeah. You've got to keep away from the legs as well.
Yeah, that's right, because we'll be done for tripping. So we've got that little patch to be able to tackle. But that one there, just looked more like a slip.
I think there's a bit of frustration.
Here it is again to have a look. You're right. He has just no control. He's up around the shoulders and slips down.
He's going. It looks to me he's trying to steal the ball.
Plus,
he's going for a one-on-one steal.
And had it been any other player but him, Robinson wouldn't have responded that way.
Well, his opponent's trying to get out of it too. That's the thing.
I don't know.
He's trying to shrug it.
I don't know if there's any history there, but Ricky Stewart, Ricky loves to fire up. Yeah. He was very reserved. I think he's probably run out of all the money because he usually gets fined.
He does. But do you mind that idea of the confrontation of the player going up to the coach and that?
I don't think directly after, because emotions are always, quite high. So there's a time and place for it. I think
he went up to apologise to Brandon Smith. Player on player.
Yes.
And I think Trent Robinson came in and
said, "Hey, mate."
Said, "Mate, that's
right." Was Brandon in there? I thought Brandon may not have been in that group at the time, but okay.
Well, that was my understanding.
Yeah. It's high stakes to double down in a press conference where Trent just goes, "Well, that's what he does." it's
He's just
that's a
protecting
tough
his
call.
players too.
Yeah. We
Yeah,
get that.
ultimately, there's not a lot to see, I don't think, in that. But there's 3 weeks he got, as we said, Whitehead. He was busy all afternoon, operating just outside the law. It was terrific to watch. He's been fined for this one here, trying to kick the ball out of Angus Crichton's hand. He got 10 in the bin for that one as well.
Well, that's the English soccer player coming
Yes,
out.
It's a fairly soft, I guess, by the rules. There you go.
Yeah, you can't use it with the feet.
Yeah, he can't do that. So he's had a very, very busy afternoon. The thing that I like about him, in response to all of that, he seems like a guy who has a very good sense of humour. He posted a video of that ball-kicking sin bin combined with some classic English rugby league commentary.
Andy! Oh, what about that? Send him off! Send the dirty get off! Get him off the field! That was diabolical! Get him off the field! That's just typical of what it is! Get him walking! He's going to be a yellow card! I can't speak!
I can't speak. Just the
Yeah, it's very clever.
That is elite.
Very
Just the
clever.
best. Well
he's
done.
off to Super League, so he's going from Canberra to the Catalan, so south of France.
Love it.
Similar sort of idea.
Both really
I went there
beautiful
once. It was
places.
topless, right? So it was a topless beach, obviously, but it was like nudist beach as well.
Right.
It was glorious.
So just like the
Glorious.
like the banks of
No,
Lake
what I meant to say, one end of the beach was topless, and so I was going, oh, this is pretty good. But as further south you went, it got a little bit more raunchier.
You're digging a greater big hole.
So I just kept going south.
Which